Okay, so obesity. How is it diagnosed? That's not as easy as it sounds. So it is for insurance purposes. If you're using insurance, obesity diagnosed a BMI of 30 or greater, or pre-obesity with an associated condition. Pre-obesity, overweight, is diagnosed at a BMI of 27 to 30, plus an associated condition like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, polycystic ovarian syndrome, um, fatty liver disease, which is metabolic liver disease now. They changed the name, heart disease. So that's how, for insurance purposes and for research purposes, traditionally, that's how it's diagnosed. And they have expanded on that, and it is, instead of, it used to be like, obesity because you ate too much, and then morbid obesity. That is going out. It is now, class 1, class 2, class 3 obesity. Class 1 is a BMI of 30 to 34.9. Class 2 is 35 to 39.9. And class 3 is 40 plus. Okay, South Asian descent, ethnicity, uh, you got a different standard there, sorry. So, research shows that South Asians have a higher body fat percentage and greater belly fat at a lower BMI, usually. So, for South Asians, this is the WHO recommendation. Um, BMI greater than 23 is pre obesity or overweight, and a BMI greater than 25 is obesity if you are of South Asian descent. Sorry. Um, so, if you are of a South Asian descent and you are going seeking treatment for obesity, you need to disclose your ethnicity. And do not get offended if any company asks your ethnicity. We're not doing it to be prejudiced. We're doing it for diagnosis purposes and for treatment purposes. It's the same thing with African American or Black uh, people. I think calcium channel blockers work better for hypertension. So there's genetic specific treatments for some people. Okay, so stop being offended over everything. Okay, BMI. Is that the best way? No, absolutely not. Oh my gosh, it's like the worst way. A good way is body composition. That gives us an idea of how much body fat you have, not just how much weight you are. Because your weight includes your muscle, your bone, your water, all of it, right? I want to know specifically how much body fat you have. So, body fat percentage, for women, we generally want it below 32%, for men, below 25%. Um, and this gives us a good idea because you can have a normal BMI and have too much body fat. It's the South Asians. They can be very slim but still have high fat content, and still have obesity. So, and I've seen that in other, not just South Asian ethnicities. I've seen that in several other people. We also want to know your waist circumference. This kind of tells us how much visceral fat you have. So a woman, if they have a waist circumference over 35 inches and men over 40 inches, it kind of gives us an idea that they're at an increased risk for fatty liver disease, heart disease, these associated obesity conditions, metabolic dysfunction. So, not only do we want to know how much fat you have, we want to know where it's at and what kind of chaos is it causing. Okay? So, the chaos, we're going to do some blood tests and we're going to check out, your blood sugar, your, blood fat, or cholesterol, your liver, how's that functioning? Hormone panel, thyroid panel. We're going to check all that out because there's a lot of conditions that are associated with obesity. And you could be a normal BMI, you could have a body fat percentage of 30%. Um, but if your waist circumference is 36 for a woman, you may have like insulin resistance. Okay? So, we're going to look at all that. We're going to look at your diet, your physical activity, your sleep. We're going to look at all this. All this goes into the diagnosis of obesity. Okay? Can you have pre-obesity or obesity and be healthy? Yes. Yes. I see it all the time. Like, I wish I had that cholesterol panel. I'm so jealous. Yes. Um, because if you carry your weight in your hips or your thighs, that seems to be a lot better than carrying it in your stomach. So there's many people who may not like the way they look, but they're very healthy. There is some argument, there is some conversation about, are they healthy just right now? I mean, because it's going to probably start to cause some problems in the future. Maybe not. So, in my mind, I would not consider somebody who has excess subcutaneous fat, but no other health conditions at all, with obesity. That's extremely rare because somebody usually has back pain or something associated. You know, there's joint pain, there's joint degeneration. But, you know, if we can't find anything, then they're healthy. You're healthy unless otherwise proven you're not. So, measure your waist circumference, get an at-home body composition scale, and watch your fat percentage, your water, and your lean muscle mass. Focus on strength training, focus on eating healthy. And by healthy, I mean low and ultra-processed foods. Eat a couple vegetables, a couple carbs, some protein, and some fat. Spice it up. Spices are awesome. And your obesity diagnosis, an obesity diagnosis should reflect you. It should reflect you where you're at, where your body, and how you're functioning. Not some cookie cutter diagnosis for insurance purposes. But we do what we can.